Welcome, everyone, to 24/7 Sports. I am Tom Loy alongside the 105 guys. We've got Director of Scouting Andrew Ivins and National Analyst Cooper Patagna. Signing day is right around the corner, so we are looking at 2025 recruiting classes all across the country and bringing fans a look at their soon-to-be signees. We're going to hit a few superlatives and state our take on a lot of these prospects. Today, we are looking at USC. The Trojans currently have the number 9 ranked recruiting class in 2025. And there are 23 commits set to play for head coach Lincoln Riley. Andrew, we will start with you. Give me your early draft pick potential guy, a guy with elite traits now, somebody who might find themselves drafted early in the NFL draft in a couple of years.
Well, Tom, this is a guy that I think USC desperately needs now that they're in the Big Ten Conference. Hayden Lowe, one of our top-ranked edge rushers, 6'0", 242 pounds, and near 6'10" wingspan. And here's the thing I really like about Hayden Lowe. He doesn't turn 17 until November 16th, so he's one of the youngest prospects in the entire cycle. 11 sacks in 10 games as a senior. Reminds me a lot of the last sack artist to come out of Oaks Christian, Kayvon Thibodeau. He's found some physicality here as a 12th grader. Heavy hands, only going to get more polished, showing plenty of effort. I love what Hayden Lowe has put on tape over the past few months, and I think for USC, just a pass rusher, point of attack player, a guy they need, and a guy that can eventually play one day on Sundays.
Love that pick, Drew. I'm going to go with Jerome Miles out of Utah. This is a big pickup for USC, and obviously USC does not struggle when it comes to elite skill talent, and Jerome Miles kind of fits USC to a T and what they want to do. Big frame, 6'3", over 218 pounds already, because he's really a pup as well when you think about his age, 16 years old at this point. So a lot of development ahead of him. The other thing that's kind of hindered him a little bit, 2 significant injuries, ankle when he was a junior and knee when he was a senior. So the biggest thing with him is, can he stay healthy? I think the availability is going to be a big piece of the puzzle as well with Jerome Miles. But when he's right, I think he's got an argument as one of the best receivers in the country. So looking forward to really kind of seeing what he can do on Saturdays with the Trojans.
Ivins, I joined you on Hayden Lowe. I'm a huge fan of the number 44 overall player in the country. Looks the part now, only going to improve physically and become a monster in college. He's a difference maker in every sense of the word. Day one impact, a guy who's going to see the field early and often. Cooper, who do you got, man?
Little redundant. I'm going to go with Hayden Lowe as well. And obviously you guys have been putting a lot of reasons out there why this guy can make an impact for USC, but it's kind of funny. You watch him. He goes to school at Oaks Christian there in California, the same school that Kayvon Thibodeau went to. Wears number 8. He's got the big elbow pad as well. I mean, there's some similarities in the way that they move, but I think about the speed to power off the edge with Hayden Lowe, and I think about his ability to kind of play in that scheme. He's a multi-dimensional guy. You can stand him up. You can play him with his hand in the ground as well. So for DeAnton Lynn, I think a guy like that, those big bodies are what they need. But when you have a kid like that that's built the way that he is, that plays as physical as he does, I think it lends well for a guy like him being able to play early.
I'm going to go a little outside the box here, and here's what's unique kind of about USC's recruiting class at this stage. I think you can go up and down the list and make a case that, hey, these guys could be on the field in 2025. But for me, I wrote down Julian Lewis, the quarterback commit. And yes, they're going to have to keep him in the boat. Colorado, Indiana sniffing around. Who knows what Miller Moss's future is there in Los Angeles. USC's 5 losses to date. He's had a bad interception in each one of them. You got Jaden Maeva, the UNLV transfer, waiting in the wings. But USC didn't take a quarterback in the 2024 class. Julian Lewis is the guy committed to Lincoln Riley right now. And when you look at him, he might not have the prototypical measurements. He might not have elite physical traits, but this guy is 35-3 over the past 3 years in Georgia's highest classification. He too on the younger side as he reclassified. He's a true point guard back there, gets the ball out fast, and I think he's got some field moxie to him. So I can talk myself into a scenario where at some point, hey, if Julian Lewis sticks with USC, he might get a look because I think he's ready to go. Pretty advanced from what we've seen, especially for a kid that has reclassified.
Yeah, regardless of where he ends up, he's going to play in year one. I completely agree. I went with linebacker Matai Tungiai. I've been a long fan of this kid since first seeing him live this offseason on the 7-on-7 circuit. And I know I threw out a comp very early, just a guy that I thought he reminded me of at the stage, and it was Kyle Hamilton. But like just seeing him at the same stage, the length, the speed, the instincts is what you want. Again, he's not him, and he's going to likely play linebacker at the next level. but I do think he's a guy that can step in right away, play linebacker, play safety, and just help USC's defense in year one. Boomer bust, Ivans, will go to you. An intriguing guy who potentially could outperform or even underachieve. Kind of a mystery. Who do you got in this class?
Ty Jackson. Last time I think USC went across the country to get a blue chip linebacker out of the Sunshine State. It was Keith Rivers. That worked out for them. Now they're down in South Florida at Santa Lucia's High School to get Ty Jackson. And this is someone that has dealt with an injury kind of all offseason, has missed some time as a senior, but he's an elite combine tester, 4.72 in the 40-yard dash at the National Combine. That's traditionally a slower track, 4.29 in the short shuttle, over 10 feet in the broad jump. He's a hit-and-run linebacker. Now, does he have the chops to bang between the tackles in the Big Ten? I think that's a bit of a question mark. Something we were hoping to figure out as a senior, and it's been difficult just due to that injury. So that's one guy where I think right now, number 21 ranked linebacker for us. He's got a day 3 grade. I can see him certainly playing his way into day 2 territory just because he moves like few others at that second level.
I'm going to go with Matai Tungiai, and obviously, like I love this player. 6'4", 190 pounds. The reason that I kind of have him in this category is because it's a unique frame for a linebacker. I mean, when Tom just compared him to Kyle Hamilton, another name that kind of comes up is like Tetaroa McMillan, who is a guy that played both ways at Servite in California. It's that really kind of slender frame. I want to know what this guy is going to look like between the tackles. Maybe it's more of an Eric Gentry role at the next level. I think he's going to be a hell of a football player, but projecting him forward, what is that going to look like potentially? What does that even look like on Sundays? Not sure it really matters much if you're a USC fan. I love the way this dude plays football, but it is kind of a fascinating thing to keep an eye on. What's he going to look like between the tackles?
For Boomer Bust, I went with receiver Corey Sims. Every time I see him on the field, he's making plays. And, he's right on the cusp for you guys for that 4th star. I think he's got an 89 overall rating, but I could see him potentially playing like a 4-star at the next level. There's a lot to like with him. Still some question marks, but I think he eventually becomes a playmaker in college. And then Diamond in the Rough, Cooper, we'll start with you, a 3-star prospect who could surprise some people, emerge as a high-level college player, and potentially get drafted at the next level.
Well, we got some overlap here. I went with Corey Sims in this category because you said it, right? He's 6'3", he's over 200 pounds. And then you think about the speed factor a little bit. He's 4.75, he's 11.24. It's one of those that's all above average, but it's not good. That's not what you would categorize that. You turn on the tape, you love the football player, strong at the point of attack. I think he plays to his frame a little bit, kind of like Kyron Ware-Hudson. I think this is going to be a really, really high floor individual. I could see him getting on the field early, and a guy that's really going to add value to a really, really skilled USC receiver room. These are guys that you have to have that are built the right way between the ears. I think he's tough, dependable, a little bit of a throwback player, but I like Corey Sims here.
Well, we're going to talk about all 4 of USC's wide receiver commits because I had 2 guys written down here. Tanook Hines, he was number 30 on my freaks list, one of the fastest players in all of Texas. He was actually ranked as a number 9 sprinter in the class of 2025 by mile split. He's got 27.1 in the 200-meter dash. Is he a safety? Is he a wide receiver? Kind of a thick-cut guy, but he can get down the sidelines. He can get vertical. The one I'm really kind of excited and I think could potentially be the most productive of this entire bunch of wide receivers is Ro Eisen out of Maryland. He ran at Adidas Nationals, took 6th in the 200-meter dash 2 years ago. Another guy that can run underneath the football, but he has that one cut-and-go capabilities. This season, 30 catches, 520 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's taken 2 kickoffs to the crib as well. I think he's someone, we've seen him on the 7-on-7 circuit, but he can make some splash plays in that Lincoln Riley offense.
I thought I was going to be the only one with Romero Eisen, but I'm clearly not. That's who I'm going with. USC is going to have to hold on to him. I mean, Penn State is surging. There's some other schools trying to flip in. But for the time being, I think that the Trojans have secured a commitment from one of the most talented receivers and playmakers on the East Coast. I'm a fan. I think he's a guy that could outperform his ranking and one day find himself drafted. That wraps it up. As I said before, we're going to hit a bunch of schools leading up to December's early signing period. Only a few weeks away, but for Andrew Ivins and Cooper Patagna, I'm Tom Loy. As always, stay locked to 247sports.com.